Every other day, a content creator, whether that be big or small, makes headlines for various reasons. And one Google search will show tens if not hundreds of stories where content creators are wrapped up in some sort of crime. As time passes, every case seems to outdo itself in both shock value and how disturbing they can be. Running with that theme then, today's story, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most disturbing cases within its category that I've covered in a while.
There's poop on my shoes. Lindsay and Steven, can you come over right over here? They're gonna pat you down real quick because I don't know what that is on you.
Pocket knives.
Any other knives on you?
No, just the two there.
Okay. Can you go ahead?
Go ahead and put your hands behind your back for me.
May I ask what's going on?
All right, right now you are under arrest for child sexual assault. Okay, we're not going to talk about it while we're here. We'll talk about it back at the police department, okay?
That's 35-year-old Stephen Kittle being arrested by Stillwater Police Department officers at his home in Stillwater, Oklahoma on March 1st, 2023. Stephen had been under investigation in relation to a child sexual abuse case. The investigation was activated after his 4-year-old stepdaughter had used lewd language when describing a sexual abuse incident to her grandfather. With no adult, including the grandfather, ever engaging in that type of conversation with the 4-year-old girl, it meant that she must have been telling the truth. After all, someone that young wouldn't just make something like that up. And so he approached the Stillwater Police Department to give them intel that something may have occurred at Stephen's property.
Trade you for a sec. Fuck.
The dark gray Dodge Journey is now
Motherfucker.
left, being driven by a black male who is involved in the disturbance, has an expired paper tag on it.
Ooh.
Clear.
The kid's room right here. Handprints of shit all over the entire room. Your feet just stick to all the shit in there. That's the nastiest house I've ever been in.
Slow roll. Did that? They were hauling ass over by here.
Where's Newly at? Like, do we need to get over there?
He's in the car.
Bro, that is the worst house I've ever been in right
We're
there.
about to look this guy's house. See camera on?
Yeah.
I mean, can you edit that?
Dude, she's like, we're trying to clean up. You go in this room, and it looks like you just put shit all over your hands and like all over the place. You know, I mean, I gotta feel like I got a pretty strong gut. That was as nasty as I've ever seen. Trade you for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got my bathroom door open. Happy holidays, y'all.
Is this what you're talking about, cleaning up the carpet? I mean, there's poop everywhere.
Alright, there's the carpet store was like this when we moved, not the junk one over there.
White female
Yeah.
Right here. You trade me?
Yeah.
What's up?
There's poop on my shoes. Lindsay and Steven. Steven, can you come right over here? They're going to pat you down real quick because I don't know what that is on you.
Pocket knives.
Any other knives on you?
No, just the two there.
Okay. Can you go ahead?
Go ahead and put your hands behind your back for me.
May I ask what's going on?
All right, right now you are under arrest for child sexual assault. Okay, we're not going to talk about it while we're here. We'll talk about it back at the police department, okay? Do you guys have a transport?
What?
The foul odour inside was unbearable. The air was thick and musty, which made breathing difficult. We couldn't complete the walkthrough without taking breaks outside for fresh air. I noticed there was a carpet in the living room. It was saturated with so much urine and feces that when I walked over it, it was smashed down to a hard surface. My boots stuck to the flooring. It was impossible to avoid stepping in dog feces throughout the home. There were old and fresh feces everywhere. There were several sticky fly traps hanging from the ceilings which were covered with bugs. I noticed there were bags of food hanging from the ceiling as well, which I later learned was to keep rodents and bugs from getting to it. The bedroom that the 4-year-old girl and her 2-year-old brother shared had exposed nails sticking out of the bed frame. There were no toys in the room. The walls were smeared with feces. It was obvious the children smeared the feces because of the size of the handprints. Some of the smears reached up to the ceiling on the west wall. I later learned that there used to be a bunk bed along that wall. Stephen tore down the top portion of it in a fit of rage because the 2-year-old boy had jumped off it. In the southwest corner, there was a remarkable amount of rodent feces in a 3-square-foot area. This is how Stillwater Police Detective Sergeant Sheree Lejeune described the property when police arrived at the scene in March of 2023. It was clear this was no place for anyone to live, let alone small children. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just the 4-year-old girl that lived there, as you've just found out. Before we continue though, let's break down how the family unit was set up in the property, as it does get slightly confusing. So you've got parents Stephen Zachariah Kittle and his wife Lindsay Nicole Pratt. They were married for roughly 1 year by March of 2023. Stephen's mother, Robin Kittle, also lived at the property. 3 children were present. The 4-year-old girl, the victim of the alleged sexual abuse, and the 2-year-old boy. Lindsay had these two from a previous relationship. They aren't Stephen's children. But there was a 1-year-old girl who lived there, and she was Stephen and Lindsay's child. Oh, and let's not forget the 6 dogs and cat that also lived at the property. When Stephen was taken in for questioning, he would go on to admit to sexually assaulting his 4-year-old stepdaughter on 7 different occasions whilst his stepson was present in the room. It wasn't just sexual abuse that took place though. All children were subjected to some sort of abuse and neglect. According to police, they discovered that the adults allowed the children to play with their feces and use the feces to make drawings on the wall. Stephen would describe these as caveman-like. The 2 older children, the stepkids, had been locked in their bedroom for 20 hours a day for roughly 1 year leading up to March 2023. This was to prevent them from leaving, as they would often break into the refrigerator because they were hungry. Their social and verbal skills were lacking for their ages. They communicated by pointing and grunting. They had an extreme aversion to bathing. They still used pull-ups and were not potty trained due to no guidance and inconsistent access to a bathroom. They showed signs of nutritional deficiencies and food scarcity. The 18-month-old had deformities in both legs, and a dead roach was removed from her ear canal. After Stephen's arrest, medical personnel evaluated the children and stated that all 3 had been neglected. Due to this finding, both Lindsay and Stephen's mother Robin were arrested in June of 2023 on 3 counts of child neglect. It's unclear why this arrest came so long after the evaluation of the children. Both Lindsay and Robin admitted that they planned to change their living conditions and offered many excuses of why they never did. They disclosed that Stephen would erupt into a fit of rage if they unlocked the children's bedroom door, opened the door, or attended to them in any other way than providing necessary food and drink to sustain life. As a result, they lacked adequate nurturance, affection, food, a sanitary environment, and necessary medical attention. In the latest update coming from the case, it appears that although Stephen admitted to sexually abusing his stepdaughter, he has so far pleaded not guilty in relation to the charges placed against him. Lindsay and Robin, well, they had no lawyers present when they appeared in court, so no plea was given. It's unclear what their intention moving forward will be. If there is one positive we can take from this case though, it would be that the children are now in the safe hands of Child Protective Services. It's been a few months since they were removed from the care of the trio, so the older two siblings, the stepchildren, more than likely have been given to their father's side of the family. For the youngest one, Stephen and Lindsay's child, it's hard to say what will happen moving forward, but at least she won't be subjected to abuse and neglect. Now, some of you may be wondering why I haven't mentioned anything to do with TikTok as of yet, and well, I wanted to save that until last. Ladies and gentlemen, these videos were being filmed as the abuse and neglect was taking place. Very disturbing indeed. But we can be thankful that this scumbag is locked away now. According to reports, he faces multiple life sentences if found guilty on all charges. Will he get that? Probably not, but at least you'll be able to rest well, knowing he won't be getting out of jail anytime soon.